and welcome to my channel. My name is Penny and I'm coming to you today from Northern Ontario, Canada. First, I'd like to tell you that I'm wearing a corner-to-corner triangle shawl that I made out of unforgettable, Red Heart Unforgettable, in the colorway, I believe it was Peacock. Well, the first thing we need to do is do some administration stuff. I had a pattern giveaway and I announced my winners December 1st. I waited, I messaged, 4 of the 5 got back to me. So I need to draw a new winner for a pattern from a video back in November. I put the comments in the random comment picker and pushed a little button, and this is what came. Darla Antonio, could you please email me? My email is in the description box below, and you will need to pick a pattern for less than $10. Thank you. Well, I have a lot to show you, so let's get to it. My first finished object is a divine hat for myself. I found myself getting a really short haircut because we went to lockdown here in Ontario, so all the salons are closed again, and I didn't want to have a hippie situation like I did last spring. So I made myself a divine hat because I find my head very cold now when I take the dogs out for their little walk and stuff. So that's finished object number 1. The second thing I finished, and I just finished it tonight, but it's the second thing, my second finished object to show you, is a sweater that I made. There's no pattern for this sweater. It is for me. It's made with the brick stitch. I made it out of a monster ball from the tent sale from Listual last summer, and the colorway is just blue. It has 3/4 length sleeves because the sweater I wear around the house all the time constantly has its sleeves rolled up, and I'm not sure if I'm going to put a pocket on or not because I like wearing my pocket shawl that has pockets because I find myself picking up little things here and there, and it's simple stick in your pocket till you get to the right room to put it where it's supposed to be. So I might do that, but I'm calling it finished for now. It has the little slit at the side, down at the bottom, and I'm not putting on any buttons or anything for it because I would truly never do them up. Because I really can't show it on here properly, I'm going to insert a little video clip or some pictures of me wearing it. Finished object number 3. In January, after the holidays were done, I started cleaning out in my craft room. I call it a craft room because I do multiple crafts, not just yarn. And I usually keep my yarn in totes so it doesn't get dusty and stuff. So anyhow, I have less scraps than I had January 2020, but I still have way too many. So I'm determined this year, my word for the year is going to be scrap. If I can't use scrap yarn in it, I might not be making it. I'm a very big fan of Yarnjoy Podcast, and Terry made herself a crocheted corner-to-corner sign for Yarnjoy. I've thought it was adorable when she made it. I've decided last fall I thought I might like to try to make something. So I got some graph paper and sketched out some letters, and I made myself a wall hanging. I'm not sure if you are ever going to see this behind me, if I have a proper setup one day, but I've made it. I'm happy with it. It's okay. I'm not a big fan of the way my N and my R turned out, and I do intend to take some scrap yarn of the same color and fill those blocks in properly, just to make it look, see if I can make it look a bit better, or maybe trace it in black. I need to do something to it though. This had an immense amount of ends. I'm going to insert a picture here because the one thing I figured out in 3 weeks of scrap yarn using, scrap yarn usually comes with a lot of ends. So let me insert that picture. And here's a picture of it laying out flat, so maybe you can see it better. This year, I'm also going to be working on baby hats for Royal Victorian Hospital in Barrie. Barrie was so desperate last fall, they said they'd take anything. I do knit. So I made a little pink newborn hat. That was made with 2.5 needles, baby weight yarn, 64 stitches around. It gives you a head circumference of 10 inches, but will stretch to 12. So that's finished project number 4. Here on YouTube, Judy at Which Piece Crafts is having a make-along, a year-long birthstone make-along. The birthstone for January was granite, and out of the granite colors she picked a dark red, dark blue, and black. You're supposed to do 4 rows on your lapgan or something, but I ended up doing 4 squares. And these are Willow squares. This is one of the make 9s that I've wanted to make for a very long time. So I'm going to make it out of the birthstone colorway. At the end of the year, I should have at least 24. Some months that have 2 colors, like January has black and dark blue and dark red. If I can find some dark blue, I might do a couple more squares in dark blue. But 48 squares will probably give me a nice size throw. So that's finished object number 5. This month I'm playing Yarn Bingo. I started to try to play last month and never got any of my pictures or anything uploaded. It was just a crazy time. And so this month I'm determined to get some bingos. One of the things they wanted us to make this month for Yarn Bingo was a snowflake. This is a snowflake I made out of scrap white yarn. It is Crochet Crowd's pattern. Of course, I'll link it below. And I was thinking I was going to make a bunch of these and use them as random act of kindness drops, but white yarn in white snow isn't going to work. I made, and this is Bee Hooked Crochet's snowflake pattern. I made a gray one. I made a blue one. I still made a white one because I hadn't come to the conclusion that maybe white's not a good color. And I made another blue-gray one. These are all out of scrap yarn. I'm not sure if these will become random acts of kindness or whether I'm going to make some kind of a wall hanging for another bingo square. Not sure. But that's finished object number 6, we'll call it. When I started to tidy up my craft room, of course, Christmas craft yarn stuff was on top of the pile. And I came across this candy cane cozy. It wasn't finished. And normally what I would do is just leave it in the bag and store it for next year. With the 3 or 4 other candy cane cozies that's already in there. I didn't. I took the yarn out. I dealt with it appropriately and finished this and sewed in my end. Another yarn bingo this month is make a snowman. And each year for Christmas, I always put a little something on the table with Lindor chocolates in it. This year I did little toques. And next year I think I'm going to do little snowman bags. And that's what this is. He's a little bit wonky. He's a prototype, so he's not exactly perfect. But it's a little snowman. And then you open up the top of him. And inside's a little bag. And it's a Lindor chocolate. So I think with him being a little bit wonky and bigger than I wanted him to be, I think he's going to have a Kinder Surprise popped in him and dropped off to a friend's grandchild that had a little incident that needs a pick-me-up. So that's the plan for him. A little random act of kindness headed out the door. And the last thing is another yarn bingo. And every morning when we have coffee, we sit with our coffees on coasters. And over the last 3 years, I made the coasters about 3 years ago. It was a Jayda and Stitches Starburst, I think was the name of it. And over the course of the last 3 years, they've gotten washed and worn and used and looking a little tired. And I have lots of small amounts of cotton, so I made myself 4 new coasters. And this is also make something for the dining room, another yarn bingo. That's all of my finished objects. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. I plan on putting a couple more videos up here really soon. And thanks for sticking around.